welcome back to Eastenders Weekly, your one and only weekly podcast all about EastEnders. This week we're talking about episodes from the 9th to the 13th of July, and I'm Ben, and I'm here with Alex. Hello.
Hello, Ben. How are you today?
I'm good. I thought I'd start introducing us again.
It's a nice idea.
Request.
As requested, yes. Thank you for that request. It's nice to have a little conversation before we get into the deep end and start talking about EastEnders.
I know. We're just letting everyone remember who we are. New listeners, old listeners, blah, blah, blah.
New listeners.
Yes. And old.
And the ones in between.
So we're going to start off this week with a chat. We're going to start with the Max, Rainey, Cora storyline, I think.
Yeah, it's starting to hot up, let's say, between them now. It's kind of stopped with the stagnant, who's going to get baby, and now there's a bit of backstabbing and a bit of betrayal, a little bit one way than the other. So it's starting to hot up a little bit.
I am enjoying it a bit more now. So we obviously start beginning of the week when Max has sort of chucked Rainey out. She's shouting.
Well, Max doesn't seem very concerned by the whole situation, even though his whole contingency plan is that he is married to Rainey. And Rainey's outside his house shouting through the letterbox. She just wants to talk. That's all she wants to do. She wants to explain herself. And Phil sees Rainey while he's doing his duty to the world and by recycling his newspapers and pretends not to see her and kind of looks away and then walks back into the house to have his breakfast with Sharon.
Jean asks if she's okay because she's shouting the house down, didn't she?
She did. And
offers her a tea or something.
Offers her a tea. She refuses it and then just walks back in again with Jean jump-started every time she shouts. And I think Rainey's had enough, and so she's kind of gone back to her old ways. She gets a phone call. Yeah,
she gets a phone call from what we now know to be the drug dealer.
Yes. And she meets the drug dealer behind the Vic, the very same place. That.
Do you think he works for Aiden?
Oh, no. Do you think Aiden's still got his hands on the drug trade in Walford?
Well, I don't know. It's the same place.
Yeah, I guess. He's not trading in the Vic anymore. I mean, that's a dangerous place already.
Behind the Vic instead.
Behind it. Well, that's where Shaquille was. So it's been a busy little
busy
area.
alleyway.
You think the police would maybe be a bit more vigilant around that area nowadays.
Well, Phil's there, so they don't have to worry.
Phil is certainly more vigilant.
Donna sees as well.
Yes.
Very nosy.
Well, Phil steps in and kind of takes the drugs and the money from the drug dealer and kind of gives it to Rainey. And the drug dealer says, that's not hers. And he's like, get out. You know?
Why did he take the drugs? Why didn't he just give the drugs back? It's a bit odd.
I got a feeling that perhaps it was just filmed and it was just kind of like, oh, that'll do. Let's move on. Moving on. And Donna spots them too, but that's left. That's kind of, there's a pin put into that for a little bit later.
This week we've seen all the clips for the summer trailer now.
Yeah.
So
they've summed up the summer trailer.
The summer trailer done in 2 weeks.
All that excitement, all that build up to that summer trailer, and we all like, hang
every
on.
single clip is being shown, apart from the one clip of drugs being put through Donna's door. So we've got one clip left.
Oh,
to
right.
tide us over, probably next week. Phil and Rainey have like a little heart-to-heart in the cafe.
Yes, and Phil says that, you know, we're a kin. We both take the easy way out, but we can't, when we can't take reality, we take the easy way out. And Rainey shrugs her shoulders, says, you know, what's the point? And Phil kind of punches her corner for her and says, you know, I'll help you. I'll speak to Max.
He's a trained he sponsors people now.
He's a sponsor, isn't he? Because Rainey said that she was.
Man.
He is. She said that she was going to go to a meeting, and Phil was like, "Shall I come with you?" It's like, this is a new Phil. Don't forget, Phil also helped Kim with her one-day alcohol problem.
Yeah,
and
helped her after getting rid of her husband.
But yes, true. There's always.
But there's like a softer feel emerging.
Apart from when it's around Sharon. Sharon's not seeing this softer feel, as we saw last week when Sharon was most upset.
Treat her mean. Keep her keen.
So Rainey puts the drugs that she had just purchased into the cafe bin, not caring the world. Anyone can just go to that bin and use it. I mean, I think Marie might have had some thoughts about that drugs maybe later on. Maybe
sell them for a bit of extra money.
A bit of extra coin. And Phil visits Max. So Rainey's pretty much given up. She says, it's all too late. I can't, you know, there's no point anymore. I'm off. You know, I'm gone. And Max has a word with Phil about Rainey. We don't see that conversation though, but we know
it's
that
all off screen.
But we know that Max goes
Part
to
of a
find
big reveal.
we go to see Max finds Rainey and says that he now trusts her because Rainey's admitted to Phil that she wasn't able to have babies, children.
Because that's what Max didn't. He thought she was lying last week about this.
The thing
is, another one of her lies.
Yeah, but Rainey was spinning so many lies last week that it was difficult to distinguish what was truth and what was lies. And so not that I'm defending Max for his temper, which is hot and cold, but he had a good point that Rainey she's very difficult to gauge, and trust.
So they're all happy families again.
Hooray.
So they go back home and something's on the doorstep.
Something. Someone.
Trump in high heels. A grot or a grot bag.
Oh, lovely Cora.
Yeah, Cora's there with baby Abby.
She is.
Trademarks. Baby Abby.
Baby Abby TM.
Yeah, Cora's back for a little guest stint on the show.
And she quite generously offers them to look after baby Abby for a night and the day. I mean, Max, going full steam into his father role for baby Abby by sleeping on the sofa with earplugs.
I know, and he looks all like tired and depressed already. It's been like one night.
I know, and again, I that I'm angry when I take the side of a character that ordinarily I would just flip over, but Jack comes into the room, shakes his head at Max, and opens the curtains in disbelief. And it's like, well, yes, actually, Jack, you're right.
Coming from Jack, who had a nanny for the past year.
Yeah, who's no longer got a nanny, but more on that later. He's got a new he's got a manny.
And were you enjoying Jack's open dressing gown?
No, that was disturbing. He sat with his legs
open all
wide
sorts,
open.
wasn't it?
I know, his legs were wide open. He was having a whale of a time. His dressing gown open in such a way. And I mean, there's children in that house now. He needs to be careful.
There's lots.
And Stuart's on the prowl as well, so
he'll watch out. Rainey is like doing babysitting duties. She's enjoying it. She likes being a mum for the day. Cora's staying at the B&B. Is she staying at the B&B or just with Kim?
Well, as in paying for the room. I mean,
they're not. I can't remember like the Foxes and Cora being that close before.
But they got quite close this week. I mean, if she wasn't paying, then she should pay because she got a heck of a lot of advice. She got free babysitting from Denise later in the week.
Maybe they're friends through the homeless Denise bit. Maybe
that's true because Cora looked after Denise when Denise went to the food bank.
Only for like one day.
When Cora guided her way, she guided her the way.
Maybe that's where let's go with that. That makes some sense.
Yeah.
So Cora's getting some advice from Kim, Patrick as well.
Yeah, Patrick is sympathising with Cora because he's likening the situation when his son Paul died and his other son doesn't speak to him anymore, much in the same way that Rainey doesn't speak to Cora. So
Dr. Truman.
Dr. Truman.
I'd love him to come back on the square. Yeah, hasn't been a doctor in ages.
Funny you should say that. I've been thinking that for a couple of weeks now because I can't remember what I was reading or looking at, but they were talking about Dr. Legg, and I think number one used to be what is now number one used to be the doctor's surgery.
Yeah, down the stairs, isn't it?
That's right, in the basement, and they don't have a doctor's surgery on the square anymore. I suppose NHS cuts and blah 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 blah.
It's an old thing,
but they do need like a doctor on the square. I'd like them to have like so every time like anything should happen, they go to like this doctor. It's like every storyline where someone feels a bit sick or they've been shot. I suppose they did go to Mariam. Yeah, she's an ex-nurse.
There.
That's right.
She could work there as receptionist / nurse.
A part-time job. They needed to get them into a bit more social setting because all they seem to do is stay at home. I mean,
Miriam, all she does is shake her head and walk upstairs.
but they both, Ashad and Miriam, they don't really integrate with the cast that much. They're like the new
Joyce,
Joyce and Ted.
Joyce.
Uh-oh, and we know how that turned out.
Yes, not good. So we then see Rainey and Cora meet up a few times.
Yes, because Cora's got a plan.
Yeah, she's got a deal for her.
Yeah, I mean Lauren is mentioned as well, which cracks me up.
Oh yeah,
really
of
dismissed,
course. Finally, after all these months, we know where Lauren walked to.
Which she walked on water and went all the way to New Zealand.
So she's back in New Zealand.
She's back in New Zealand, and Cora was like, yeah, she seems to be doing fine. Anyway, back to business. It was really brushed under the carpet.
At least they finally mentioned it.
Well, it needed to be explained.
I have been tweeting about this for quite a while, so it's
must
good.
Have been listening.
Yeah. So is she back with Peter and Lauren? Do you think in New Zealand or just living in New Zealand?
Don't know. I hope he's. I hope she's not back with Peter. She's just. She can't make her mind up, can she?
Doing advertising in New Zealand.
Yeah, doing websites with her online degree.
So this deal that Cora offers Rainey is to basically Cora, Tanya, and Rainey are going to live in like a house together with baby Abby.
Yeah, in Exeter. And they're going to open a little coffee shop.
Yeah, for Rainey. So she'll get to meet people.
Tea house. Yeah.
And she'll get to work.
It sounds like a sitcom.
I know.
It sounds like a sitcom waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Cora and Rainey.
So yeah,
together.
Sounds like quite a good deal, really.
But Rainey,
I was thinking all week.
But Rainey, all the time it was being discussed, she kept bringing up, but am I going to be able to look after baby Abby? Oh, yeah. Oh, until Tanya comes along. Yeah, but when Tanya comes along, will I be able to look after baby Abby? Yeah. But also you'll be running this tea room, so you have this. Yeah, but will I get to... And so Cora wasn't getting into her head, the same way Max wasn't getting into his head, that it's not about the money to Rainey. It's about looking after baby Abby. And Max sees that Cora is kind of whispering down the alleys every now and then.
It really annoyed me when he was asking Rainey, like...
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, you talk to your mum, what about? It's like, it's her mum. Surely you can just have a conversation with her.
But then he was right to say that Rainey and Cora don't have a very strong relationship.
Yeah, but still, it's like, oh, shut up, man. So we've got to say, let her talk to someone. He was being horrible Max again.
Well, he was encompassing her, wasn't he? He was trying to keep her away from anything that could potentially be a dangerous...
But I don't get why Rainey's... Because Rainey's deal with Max is they fake a marriage. She pays her until they have the baby and then she leaves. So she's still not getting baby Abby that way.
No, because that's what I mean. Max isn't listening. Max or Cora aren't listening.
Well, she might as well have went with her mum's deal then. At least you'd have baby Abby for like a year.
But this is where later in the episode we find out that Rainey realizes, she suddenly clicks that actually she's the pinnacle chip in this gamble plans. In both their plans. She's needed for Max's plan, she's needed for Cora's plan. It's now to work out for Rainey how she's going to get the better deal. And I think she thinks that she'll be able to manipulate Max better than she would be able to manipulate Cora. So Cora obviously gives her the money upon her insistence, but how much was it?
It was loads.
It was a lot of money, wasn't it?
£50,000 check.
it was a heck of a lot. Yeah, so, 50,000. Yeah,
Tanya's rolling in it apparently.
But they remortgaged the house. So, but also something else that's interesting. Tanya is in a hospital at the moment.
Yeah, it's all a bit weird as well because half the time she's saying, "Oh, Tanya will help," and Tanya thinks this and that, and then the other time they're like, "Oh, Tanya's mentally unstable."
Yeah, I know. So well, she will come out and she'll be able to look up because again, it's Cora's case that Tanya's going to be. So technically, Tanya's going to be the mum, and so again, in Rainey's head, she would be the mum in the situation with Max, but with Cora and Tanya,
she knows with Max that the second they've got the baby, she's chucked out.
Well,
so it is weird.
But it doesn't make any sense. It's manipulating Max to think that it's not about the money. Well, it isn't about the money, and to convince him that. I mean, she's tried to get Max on her side by, coming on to him and manipulating him through sex. Well, it didn't go too great. No. I mean, Max kind of after the kiss, it kind of didn't go much further. But again, there's always hints and in small nods that perhaps there could be something between them. I mean, I hope not. What's happened to Oscar?
Exactly.
If Tanya is...
I know. Max, why isn't Max trying to get custody of it?
Oscar, exactly.
Yeah, it's silly. So Rainey is eating ice cream all depressed as well by the end. She's not quite sure what to do, is she?
But she's admitted to Max now that Cora's given her the check and she's shown Max the check.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's pigging out on some vanilla.
And she does like a mysterious voicemail to the social worker saying, "I don't want to do this, but I've got something I need to report." So you're led to believe, is she? Then that's when you're wondering, is she telling on Cora? Is she telling something on Max?
See, I immediately thought I know that she had just had an argument with Max before the phone call, but I immediately thought that it was going to be down to her telling about Cora because it's not about the money.
Yeah. I mean, well, we know that it was about Cora because she had her meeting.
Well, the next day, first of all, may I point out that Cora could quite comfortably sneak in as the 6th Spice Girl while she was dancing with baby Abby to Who Do You Think You Are?
Yeah, everyone was listening to that, weren't they?
They were. Everyone must listen to the same radio station.
Montage.
I'm surprised the BBC
Walford
didn't.
Radio.
Well, I'm surprised the BBC didn't get like Nick Grimshaw and make it a bit of a plug for Radio 1 or something like that, because they've done that before. They've had one of their national radio stations being listened to by the whole square. But yeah, Rainey invites Cora over to the house, knowing that the social worker is going to be there, and Cora's a bit blindsided. She's a bit surprised that the social worker is there, and this is when Rainey does the double cross. She basically, first of all, Cora thinks that she said, well, I didn't want to do it this way, but I might as well just tell you she's leaving Max. And then Rainey's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Actually, you tried to pay me off. And Max shows the check to the social worker. I mean, the social worker was quite right to say, well, this isn't really the environment we should be doing
For
this.
either of you. Yeah.
Yeah, for any of you, yeah.
Yeah.
We should be... do you think the council are thinking to themselves, there must be a third option?
Donna.
Yeah, Donna. Yeah, I mean, I would give it to anyone right now. I'd give it to Stuart. I'd give baby Abby to Stuart at the moment.
Poor baby Abby.
No, she's just going from pillar to post.
Yeah, it's not good. So they basically shown their hand. Rainey's now staying with Max.
Yes.
Cora is now on the warpath. So she's go to her mate.
Well, they have a huge argument in the street, don't they? And Donna witnesses this big argument, and she sticks up for Cora. And so then, before Cora's about to leave on the train, she suddenly thinks, oh, hang on, I've got this ally here. And I presume that it's a scene that we've not seen, or we just have to imagine that they have had a conversation about Rainey and Donna's incident last week. But Cora goes to Donna's house with a bottle of wine.
She does. With a bottle of wine and a plan.
And
a promise.
And yes, I mean, when she walks in, it's so funny because she kind of looks around her as if there's like 100 people listening to her plan. So she looks behind her. She looks look up the stairs. She's like, oh, I need to have a quiet word with you.
So she says to Donna, we're gonna make them pay, or we're gonna get her.
Yeah, we're gonna get her.
So
it's all.
Do you think it is leading to maybe getting Donna to file for adoption? Maybe?
No, I think it's just leading to Cora getting baby Abby. I think Cora's going to try tooth and nail.
Setting them up or something.
Yeah, to set them up. And she knows that there is a past with Donna and Rainey, because it's clear that she's tried to get Max through Rainey. It's failed. So she still sees Rainey as the weakest link. See, to me, I think Max is the weakest link. I think she should just keep piling away on Max. And just keep going.
He's so bloody hot-headed.
He's so hot-headed, and
he's going to mess up eventually.
Exactly. All it would take is one incident. If she got someone to wind him up enough, and then be like one of those bystanders with a mobile phone recording like a fight.
It's like what Max did to everyone last year, isn't it?
Exactly. But
Charlie Cotton.
Yes.
Bring him back. He can say that Max paid me off to do stuff.
Also, he can bring Dot back with him.
Oh yeah.
Where is Dot, by the way? What's happened to Dot?
Poor Dot.
Do you know where Dot is this week? I reckon she's in Lidl. She's got a bit lost around the special buys.
Dot's aisle. Just turned into Sonia, basically, this week.
Sonia's turned into Dot.
Well,
they are one. Maybe they are just the one person. Yeah.
So that leaves us this week with the Max, Rainey, and Cora. Baby Abby, TM.
Yes. What's going to happen? Watch this space.
I know.
What I was going to say, what have people been saying?
Yeah, well, we've got a few comments on Twitter. So someone said, so if Tanya is in hospital, where and who is looking after Oscar?
Point for Alex.
And has Max forgotten he has a son? And what happened to Kamal's cat?
No, jokes. Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. Craig. What happened to Craig?
Craig Revel Hallwood.
Do you reckon Craig ran away because he was so upset over...
Maybe he's playing with Dot's cat.
Where's Dot's cat? We found... Was it this week we were on... was it Walford website? It was a website, and they published all the publicity photos of all the cast.
Walford Web, yeah.
And Dot's cat has a publicity photo.
It's like the best one. I want to get his signature.
It's the best. We might post that.
We
might post that on Twitter, so keep an eye out on that. And we'll show it to you all.
This is another one that really annoyed me, actually. Cora, she'd have a mother if it wasn't for you. Max, yeah, whatever. Max, father of the universe.
That's true.
I know. It's like... He's like saying about Abby's death, yeah, whatever.
No, you're right, because he made such a big issue and deal with the fact that he's doing it for Abby. And
yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever. A really bad line that was. I don't think they thought that through.
I'm hoping that perhaps it was just done a bit spontaneously and it wasn't written, because that was a really throwaway gesture toward Abby, adult Abby. Abby Senior.
Someone says, "No, Rainey, how dare you betray mighty Max Branning?" Obviously, this was before we realised who she was betraying. "Let's pray for baby Abby right now, as she will be looked after by a crackhead loser and a non-stop old lady smoker." Well, not anymore.
I didn't see Cora smoke one cigarette throughout her whole tenure.
She looks quite
this week.
smoky.
I'm not saying she
I
doesn't.
think in her past she may have. In
I remember
the jazz clubs, I can imagine.
The jazz clubs.
Rainey and Max's sham marriage is going to get abusive. I can feel it.
Oh, do you think that's the next step, is it?
I mean, which way is it going to be? Who's going to be abusive to who? Because we've had Max's forgotten mental state, and his self-harm has seemed to have forgotten itself, where he used to burn himself. So will Rainey turn violent?
Yeah, they never explored that, did they? No. They showed it once. He was having a drink.
A few times, yeah.
And he had a cigarette in his hand and he just burnt himself.
And then he brought it up again when he was trying to get Carmel's USB stick. He brought it up as a reason. Didn't
one of the characters...
Yeah, Carmel.
Was it Carmel who spotted it? Oh,
so she left the room to get a bandage and he went through her files.
That's when she cooked him dinner. They were the days.
Poor Carmel. So yeah, that's that storyline. So we're going to go on to a bit of comedy, a bit of light heart now with more Ian and Masood.
Well, Laura and Hardy, as I'm starting to call them.
Did you know they've got a new business together?
No.
They've not mentioned it, have they?
No, really?
No.
My goodness, what is it? Is it a fusion?
No one knows.
No, that's right. Not even them.
Walford East is what it's called
No,
now.
it's called Masood of Walford East.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
He got his name in there.
Which is a Facebook group of Eastenders as well. So
what Walford East is, yes.
Well, copyright that quick.
TM.
So yeah, we have. I mean, the first half of this week was a bit like, is this actually a real storyline? Like on paper, it's literally written, the ice cream van is being cleaned for 2 episodes.
I mean, Mass has.
I mean, on paper, this whole storyline can seem like really, but because of last week's really heavy, dark, serious week we had.
Yeah.
I kind of forgive this week. It's quite nice to have this more. All the stories quite light-hearted, apart from Tina's, and it's actually, if this was any other week, I'd be really
fuming about it.
But actually, it's quite a nice break.
I must say, I did this. This is the first week in a while where I've actually enjoyed the Ian and Masood story,
because they finally rekindled a little bit, haven't they?
There's something about their friendship that is actually quite entertaining to watch, but then when they keep repeating the same thing all the time, oh, it's my business. Oh no, it's my business. Know. But they didn't do that a lot this week. No. It was a bit more.
There's still some of it.
There was still some of it. Well, especially when they were cleaning the van.
So yeah, I mean, they were cleaning the van for an episode.
Yes, and they were coming up with ideas for their new
just
shop.
Arguing about the name of the restaurant.
I've got some of the names if you'd like me to just share them with you.
Yeah, let's relive it.
There's Walford Nights. But they said that sounded too much like a pole dancing club.
It sounds like a Peter Kay comedy or something.
Well, because it says nights.
Yeah.
Eastern Promise. That sounds like a Turkish Delight tagline.
Yeah, or like a cocktail on a menu or something.
Yeah. One Eastern Promise.
Yeah.
A Walford Heat.
No,
I mean, with the current weather, it's quite a...
No, I don't like that.
No, okay, fine. No. Wow. Lucky Ian and Masood aren't going to business with you, aren't they? And one just simply called Spice. Spice.
That's rubbish too.
I mean, they'd never get the copyright for the word Spice. It'd be a tough one to get.
Shame they're not opening in the Argy Bargy, really.
I've always, every time they
When will that set come back? It's been abandoned.
It's always there. It's just got a to let sign outside.
It's just got graffiti on it.
What would it be? Another, well, it can't be another Indian now, can it? They've already got a Chinese takeaway there, because they're always going to it, but you never see it.
Maybe McClucky's could expand. Move on to the actual square.
The new KFC of Walford.
So yeah, then we have a thing of he's stuck in the van. Oh, I can get out the other side, which is really stupid. You would have thought he would have tried that other door.
Well, he gets stuck in the van after they've cleaned it, and Robbie whimsically kind of he just hits the handle a couple of times, gives up, and then says, "Oh, that's all I can do." And the whole of the square are laughing at him. Kathy implores that, begs Phil to help him open it, and Phil's like, "No, I'm not going to bother.
I could do in 10 seconds.
I used to flush his head down the toilet at school."
We then have a "Move Me" sign on the van because it's parked outside Mel's flat.
Can I just say, do you think that there was a bit of a reference to Masood being the Fonz because he was wearing a leather jacket throughout this week, and he opened the door by knocking it twice, like what the Fonz used to do with their jukebox?
That's
so do you think
high chance?
Do you think he might be the new Fonz, the
What, jumping the shark? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. So we have this move me thing. Mel seems quite surprised that it's there.
She's very inconspicuous about it, isn't she? She's like, oh, who would do a thing like that?
And Ian's weird obsession with her continues throughout the week, and he sort of works out that it was her.
I think, yes.
Kind of. And she says, oh, it just needs to be moved.
Well, Mas moves the van.
Oh, yeah, because he moves it
outside
E20.
Outside E20 after they've moved the sticker.
To then clean it again.
Yes.
For some reason.
Yes. And Mel visits Ian. That's right. After they've parked it outside E20.
Yeah. And they come to like some sort of agreement. And because she says like she blows a kiss at him or something.
She blows a kiss at him.
And that makes him think, oh, yeah.
He becomes a big happy baby at that point, doesn't he?
So
He's got a
ridiculous.
big beaming smile. He's like, I finally cracked it with Mel. But as she walks out, we get to see that she rolls her eyes.
I know. She knows what she's doing, doesn't she?
She's a manipulative old cat.
Yeah. So he gets Masood to move it. Where does he move it?
Back outside.
So that whole thing was quite pointless, really, because it moved from outside a house to outside E20 back to outside her house. So there you go. That was
a half an hour wasted.
That was a typical Tuesday on EastEnders.
But as we both said to each other, what was she missing by having the van outside her house? Like the view of the market.
The view of like Shaquille's shrine and bench. Arthur's bench.
Does she just need to look at that every day to remember that she's lucky to be alive?
It's not even her flat, it's Jack's.
That's right. She's
at Jack's house anyway, most of the time in his bed.
She should get Jack to give some words toward Masood and Ian. He'll get it sorted with his clenched fist.
We then go on to 80s night.
Yes, at the E20.
Yeah.
This was also one of my favourite episodes this week because there was lots of extra scenes because of England's unfortunate
I know there's been loads of extra
knocking
scenes
out
this
of the
week.
World Cup. One of them was just awful when Mel turns her back and leaves the cafe and goes, I've got France in the sweepstake.
Yeah, more weird dubbed lines.
But because it was dubbed on top of it, there was no reaction by any of the cast that she'd said it. Other than later on when they do the extra scene when she mentions it again and to Billy.
Hunter,
I mean that was a dumb scene. Like when they walk in, Billy's like doing something under the desk, and Billy's a bit. What's Billy doing under the desk?
Weeing in a bottle again.
Well, yeah. But back to its roots.
It kind of takes because they used to be like really fun when they used to do insert scenes, but they've done like 3 in this week or 2 weeks, and it's a bit like okay.
I mean,
don't overdo it.
A little bit goes a long way.
It takes the magic away, but Mel had this one because all the other ones were given to Mick. But I think Danny Dye was getting a bit too tanned, so he couldn't do them anymore because he kept turning really tanned, and then like the next scene he was really pale.
Although, didn't you notice that someone's hair had changed? Or was that last week? I forget now.
No, that was someone else. Their hair normally does change. Because when Michelle did one once, hers.
We always talk about Michelle's one when she was on the bench.
But just awful. We don't need those scenes really. But they're done now for a while. Yeah, we hope.
Well, Ian finally admits to Mel that he's got affections. And that he wants to get back with Mel. It's his future. It's what's written in the stars. And I think Masood feels a bit sorry for him, but also I think Masood might want to get on good terms with Kathy and thinks that if he can,
he's sort of
if he can get
a bit of both, isn't he?
Yeah, if he can get something good to happen to Ian, then perhaps Kathy might rekindle that kiss that they had a few weeks ago.
Oh, yes. So they go in to meet with Mel during 80s night and just have make a little deal.
Well, Mas plays the disgruntled business partner, so he's kind of Ian's wingman at this point. He's playing the wingman for Mel's affections. And Mel kind of plays the middleman and kind of says, hey, hang on, calm down, guys. How about if we scratch your back, you scratch ours? We can leave our van parked outside your club, which isn't your club, it's Sharon's. Mel owns nothing, but she's angry about everything.
Yeah.
But
she's using her beauty and charm.
She is. But we'll sell food and we'll then give people flyers to your club, which is literally 2 feet from where we're selling the food.
I mean, they've already made a deal with each other when he gave her that free meal a few weeks ago.
The meal that stands as well.
Yeah.
He says as well. He says, and I'll still give you that free meal.
Oh, she's all. She's getting a lot, isn't she?
She's going to get porky with all this food.
Free food, free booze.
Yeah.
Free leaflets handed out.
I mean, she accepts the deal.
She does.
And, Ian's really grateful for Mas at this point, and so they agree to have a few drinks because it is 80s night.
This is like
all.
the beginning of their friendship now.
Yeah, they've accepted that together they're a strong unit. Apart they're weak.
He tells Ian to take his ring off.
Yes, I thought that was strange. I wonder why they brought that up.
Just bringing Jane into everyone's mind again.
Yeah,
Poor Jane.
Do you think the writers are saying, "Hey, don't worry, we haven't forgotten about Jane.
I don't know,
we know
they?
what we're doing." Well, with
They're
that,
not even divorced yet.
well, that's right. So
I know.
Jane's. Do you
Poor
think?
Jane.
Because Jane, obviously, last time she returned, she had a surprise return. Like
She
no one
did.
knew
She
she was
likes
coming
them.
back. Yeah. Do you think
They
that's...
do trust her with lots of secrets because she
Mm.
knew about the whole Who Killed Lucy thing.
Yes.
But yeah.
I like a bit of surprise. I like it when they bring back a character and no one knows
Mm.
about it. Sometimes we know too much, and I'd like to
Yeah.
be like,
I'd welcome a Jane back.
a Jane, any
a Jane
old Jane.
back with a Bobby.
But Bobby's due out, isn't he?
That's my theory. When he's released off screen, he'll
Mm.
go live with Jane, and then we'll get a return for both, I imagine. That's
Excellent.
what my plans are.
You can't see it, but I'm rubbing my hands with glee.
So we have a little dance montage with Masood.
He was cutting the shapes on
now
that
the
illuminated
actor
floor.
there's another show called A Week on Walford, which Radio Times do, and they
Yes.
do like a quick roundup. The actor was very upset that they didn't mention the dancing.
I'd be pretty upset too.
So don't worry, we're here.
He did put it. Yes, don't worry about it.
I said to him, we'll mention it on our podcast, and he gave us a thumbs up. Please do. So yeah. What did you make of his moves? They were quite entrancing.
Well, the one thing I would say is that obviously the lineup of Strictly is very soon.
Oh yeah, he's not done it, has he?
He's not done it.
There you go.
I think that they would
Good
be
bet.
missing a golden opportunity if...
Maybe that's why they put that scene in there.
I think Knighton needs this
Yeah.
more than anyone. I think he could raise that trophy. He could have the
That's a
confetti
good
coming
pick.
down.
Because he's not got a huge storyline, so he's not like massively busy. But he's pittering around in everyone's mind. So yeah,
And,
never thought of him as doing Strictly.
And Adam Woodyard could sit in the audience, and one week Jane could be there, and that could be the surprise.
Or Kathy.
Yeah, I mean, other soaps have also incorporated their daytime programming within the soap. Why couldn't EastEnders make it a storyline?
What a public Strictly.
No way. That Ian Beale gets tickets to see Strictly. It'd be a cheap to make because it's BBC Studios. When he turns up, who else is in the audience? Jane. With Bobby. waiting for a character who looks a bit like Masood.
This is ridiculous.
But not Masood.
No, you've lost me now.
Oh, okay. But I think he should do Strictly because his moves were hot.
That's a good punt.
So there we go.
So yeah, they spent the whole night out clubbing like the
Yeah.
mid-50-year-olds they are.
Masood wasn't drinking because he's a good Muslim.
Yes,
However,
for
Ian,
once.
on the other hand, is not a good Londoner. And he woke up with some beanie thing on his head and on the sofa of Mariam and Arshed.
Yes.
He
sort of undoes all the work of him and Masood becoming friends on this towards the end of the week, doesn't he, really?
Yeah, he kind of unravels
He's
again.
Starstruck by Mel.
Yeah, it's just the whole Mel thing again. So he's meant to go for a meeting at 5:00 in the evening.
Yeah, because they're business partners.
Because they're business partners. Let's not forget,
Come on.
they're starting a business together. And he lies to Masood because he thinks he's got a date with Mel after he visits her.
This is so stupid. Like, he says, oh, do you want to come round tonight? And she says, yeah, of course. It's like, Mel, that's really horrible what you've done. It's not like she even hints that it's babysitting and he doesn't hear it or acknowledge it, like that happened. He said, do you want to come over to mine tonight? She said, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
And then she turns up and he pretends he's sick to Masood so he doesn't have to go to the meeting by coughing.
Good coughing acting, to be fair.
Yeah. And she just turns up with Jack and the kit and Amy.
Amy, yeah.
And,
And he's got to pick up Ricky from Cubs. So, oh, yeah, pick up. That's another thing from Beavers or Cubs later. I thought Jack was one of the Cub leaders.
Yeah.
He was strutting around with his woggle.
It's like, Mel, this is a really horrible thing.
Yeah, yeah.
She just turns up with the kids and leaves him with Ian and walks off with Jack.
So he leaves Ian babysitting, the new nanny, the new Ingrid. Jack's meant to be going to a Cub meeting. Can't be bothered. He wants to go out and get clubbing with Mel. He's in for a promise. And bad Mel.
It's just, yeah.
If I had a newspaper, I'd roll it up and smack your nose with it.
Yeah, silly. So, yeah, I'm not pleased with Mel after that. I thought she's quite cold anyway, but that was really
she's as cold as ice and bitter, yeah.
So, people on Twitter, sick of hearing Maz and Ian arguing and always hearing the same line. We thought we were partners. I haven't heard that line in ages.
No, I didn't even know they said it.
Please make them grow up now. It's boring. So, she's got a point. We hear this quite a lot. we're business partners.
It's because they're just doing the same thing again and again. I'll be happy when they eventually open the
I
business.
thought they were getting through it this week. Now they've undone it all again on Friday.
I mean, I like the Maz and Ian friendship storyline, actually. And I think they could do something really interesting with it in the future if they actually made them like... Because there is no real friends, do you know what I mean? Other than outside of the family. Outside of the Slaters, they don't really know anyone, apart from maybe Jean and... Shirley. But do you know what I mean? And okay, there's...
Denise and Carmel as well. They used to, but
they
really
don't anymore. And Sharon...
Martin and Kush, though.
Well, their bond will never die. They're tankards.
They're together forever.
If you melted the tankards together, it's like their love.
Someone said, you should always know this as a rule on EastEnders. Never trust Ian Beale. That's to Masood.
Oh.
Well, it's true.
I mean, I wouldn't trust him with a lot of things, but I think this business story, he's got his mum protecting him. His mum's like the Ofcom of their relationship.
Ian thinks Mel will go out with him. FFS.
Ooh.
I'll let you work out what that means in your own time.
Yeah.
He's pathetic. She won't go out with that beep. I think Jack is hot.
I love it. Just went completely off subject at the end.
I know.
And I like strawberries.
And Ian still fancies Mel. That is so sad. Mel is in her 40s and Ian looks like he's 57.
Wow.
Well, there you go. Good for Mel. Well, looking good.
She is hot, let's be honest. Mel's... She's
basically the new Ronnie. She's like the exact same everything of Ronnie.
No, you're right there.
They've even hooked her up with Jack.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's obviously showing that they regret killing Ronnie. Because right now that would be Ronnie.
And Roxy, let's not forget.
And Roxy.
They should regret both of those.
That's why Rainie's there, you see. She's probably taking Roxy's role. Roxy would probably been the fake wife to Max.
Yeah.
And her drug habits and all sorts.
Her drug habits kick back in again.
So yeah. So we're going to move on for a little break now. We've got another episode of I'm Doing This Now.
Yes.
Just do this now.
So, as we delve into the East End's past, it's time to explore what one actor is up to after they shedded off the character from the square on this week's I'm Doing This Now. Now, for this edition, we will not be going too far into the past as we learn more about Kyle Slater, played by Riley Carter, for 1 year from Halloween, the 30th of October, 2015.
Oh, yeah. I remember that Halloween episode.
Spooky.
That's when Stacey Martin had that little flat.
Oh, was that when they still lived in the flat?
Yeah.
With the kind of really spacey
the
wallpaper.
dodgy wiring.
And yes, the dodgy wiring.
Yes.
Oh,
Secret brother.
Don't see that flat anymore. No one lives in that flat.
I don't know. Above,
it's above Billy
Taylor's? No. The Taylor's is where Shirley and Tina used to live. No, don't see that anymore.
No, the Taylor's is a council house. Shirley and
it got changed, sold, and they added the third floor to it.
Oh god,
I know.
So many changes.
I only know that because someone told that to me on Twitter the other day.
Oh good,
so,
that's a lucky coincidence.
I know. I'm very up to date.
You are.
Walford's building.
Wolford's planning permissions and permits.
So yes. Anyway, back to Kyle.
I'm just thinking you should have a job with
Jack.
Denise at the council.
Jack pays better though.
Well, it's privately owned, that's why. Anyway, Kyle Slater was born Sarah Slater and struggled to live in Blackpool with his family. He had a heart of gold and always tried to be the optimist. He moved to London and grabbed a job at Burger King, hoping it would be his first step into working in a restaurant kitchen. I mean, Burger King, the Ritz. It's just a natural progression, isn't it?
Got to start somewhere.
That's true. A job's a job. When Carl first arrived in Walford, he was a mysterious figure, watching Stacey Slater around the square at a distance. Stacey noticed him throughout, and after following her to a party, leaves quickly, revealing to the audience that he had a key similar to that Stacey had before it was taken by her mum, Jean Slater.
This key has a lot to answer for.
There was a really kind of whirlwind storyline.
Yeah. Well, they even mentioned Sean. She Skyped Sean off screen.
Yes, you never saw him. Just had a few.
And she Skyped Zoe off screen.
Yes, where Zoe's busy.
Never seen her
being bionic.
And everyone was wondering what could be in this lockup. What does this key open?
No one knew what the key opened, did they? And Jean was adamant that she didn't want anyone to know.
She even tried to flush it down the toilet, didn't she, Jean?
Well, we all thought she had flushed it down the toilet, and the next minute, with a wet hand, there was Stacey holding the key.
So yes, What did the key unlock?
Well, while praying at church, Stacey. This is when.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. This is
Yeah.
her her first or her second out of
But this
four
was her big one.
storylines.
This
Yeah.
was the
She like turned weirdly.
This was another one which
and
ended.
Dot didn't help her mental state at all.
Well, Dot kind of threw the Bible at her and
Anything,
said, "Just
Dot-
pray."
Dot like made her more unstable by saying all these weird things to
Oh
her.
yeah, about demons
Yeah.
and ghosts and
I forgot that happened.
yeah. But it, as always, it ended up on the top of the Queen Vic roof. So anyway, while praying at church, Stacey hears Kyle moving behind her, and she shouts, "Do you know me?" She later tells her then boyfriend, now husband Martin, that she feels like she was being stalked. Jean later reveals that Stacey's father, Brian, had another family, which knocks Stacey into the realization that Kyle could be her half-brother.
See, what they could have done, sorry to interrupt, but what they could have done with introducing Haley is made him, Haley, one of Kyle's sisters, because we've never met them yet.
Yeah, that would have
Anyway.
made good sense. Well, it could still happen.
It could be.
Maybe
Brian
Brian
had a
had-
third secret one.
he could have. Yeah, he could have been with multiple
Why not?
women.
If you've had two, why not three?
I mean, yeah, let's do this. In the new year, Kyle gets the confidence to introduce himself to Stacey, finally confirming he is her brother, and shares memories of their father to an emotional Stacey. He reveals he has two other sisters, Siobhan and Shannon, and hands two envelopes to Stacey, which he found in a deposit box that was opened by the key he was wearing. So we know there's two envelopes.
Yes.
One's for her, and one is for her brother.
Sean.
Yeah.
Trying to think what brother you were talking about there. She's got so many.
I'm trying to make... No, she has. She's got loads of... They're all female, the Slaters, aren't they?
Kyle, Sean, I don't know.
Two. When Stacey flees from the square with her son Arthur before being diagnosed with postpartum psychosis, she calls Kyle and they meet at the cafe on Victoria Road. I did a bit of research for cafe number 2 and I thought I might as well find out where it is. So it's now the Victoria Road Cafe.
Okay.
So Bridge Street Cafe is the original Cafe's Cafe, but Victoria Road
Is this
Cafe...
one of that cafe's first appearances? It's not been there long, has it?
No,
Have to look that up.
it's new. It's on Victoria Road. You should go there one time.
It's really new and edgy.
Yeah, it is. It's really cutting edge. They put the jam outside of the donut. Kyle calls Martin, and Stacey discovers when she takes her phone back that Kyle was a fraud and Brian only had 3 daughters.
Sarah. Where's Sarah?
Transformed into the devil, apparently, according to Stacey, because she starts calling him the devil as she runs away again, and Martin warns Kyle not to follow or come back again. Kyle returns a month later and gives Martin a box to give to Stacey. It is the full safety deposit box from their father Brian's safe deposit. However, Stacey is sanctioned and Martin blames Kyle and again advises him to leave Walford.
They never listen though, do they?
They never listen because you know what? When Stacey arrives back home, Kyle comes back too and reveals that he was her sister, but he is transgender. At first, Stacey doesn't understand but does accept it and lets him move into their home.
Just let everyone move into her own, isn't she?
It's like a hostel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although Jean refuses to believe him. So she never believes him at all.
No, still doesn't to this day.
To this day. Kyle gets a job working as a chef at Bill's and starts a short feud with Andy Flynn. Andy Flynn! Hiding in the flats that Jack made.
Lovely Andy Flynn.
Selling toilets to Jack
That's
Black.
not even his real name either. His real name's not Andy.
Well, do you know who Andy Flynn... Do you remember who Andy Flynn was? We can talk about it quickly. He was Danielle's brother.
Yes, he was. We talked about him last week. He was on
Yeah.
Humans.
That's right. Danielle's brother
Mm.
to Ronnie. Poor Danielle.
He can never come back now. 'cause
When
there's
I'm
no
doing
ties.
I'm doing this now. I always come back to Danielle, and I always kind of want to do it, but there's a part of me that
It's
doesn't.
too heartbreaking.
It's really
You can't talk
heartbreaking.
about it.
What they did to Ronnie was horrible. They can't let Ronnie be happy, and then they
No.
kill her.
I remember my friend watched that and she told me on like MSN Messenger because it was so long ago.
So cool.
She was so upset.
Was she?
Mm.
I remember watching the
Everyone
scene.
was because
Yeah.
everyone wanted her and Danielle to just to be happy.
I remember watching because it was one of those.
Yeah.
It was appointment television, that episode, because they kept saying you have to watch this episode, you have to watch the episode, and
Yeah.
so we did.
Very
And
sad.
it was really sad. Really, honestly, I remember it just took the breath out of me. So, believing that Andy Flynn is trying to sleep with Stacey, Kyle threatens him by shaking the ladder on which he's on.
He kept having showers, didn't he?
But
At her house.
yes, he did.
Every chance he got.
Well, because
he was topless with water dripping down him.
I mean, that wasn't unpleasant to see.
Well, no.
Let's be honest.
Now we've got Martin, so
Yeah. With what looked like cream on his
I
body.
know. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. When Kyle meets his mum, Alison Slater, by arrangement of Stacey, she has never seen him as a man and cannot accept it. A few weeks later, Kyle is delighted that Stacey and Martin marry. Kyle figures out that Stephen Bill, shake fist, is behind the burglary of Bill's and agrees not to tell anyone if Stephen puts him on a catering course. Following the course, Kyle, I know, so easy. Following the course, Kyle was featured in a magazine. Do you reckon? I don't know what the magazine was called. I looked everywhere. Do you think of some magazine
Walford
names?
Kitchen.
Walford Kitchen. I thought Tray Bake Monthly. Something like that. And the tutor of the course offers him a job in France. Kyle wants the job, but does not want to leave Stacey and Martin, but they encourage him to follow his dreams. And he accepts the placement.
Quickly written out.
Yeah, I know. Kyle's confidence finally boosted. He cooks a farewell meal for his family and just quietly leaves for pastures new. I mean, he didn't even have a big explosive goodbye either.
No. They even bothered to bring her mum. I feel sorry for can't remember the actress now who played his mum.
Denise Welch.
Because I think she thought, I think I might have a permanent role here that I can come to.
I might be in another soap.
Yeah, I think she did, because she did one episode and she was being interviewed about it and she was like, oh yeah, it was really, I loved being there, it was this. And I thought in the back of her mind, she thought, here we go. I've got a possible return, possible Slater, big family to be part of. But no, that was it.
It wasn't to be. I mean,
one
again,
episode she was in.
She was a one episode
She was
wonder.
really horrible as well, wasn't she?
But
she wouldn't accept him.
No, she was nasty.
Yeah.
Good character though to have in EastEnders. I mean, the Slaters are back. Now the Slaters are back, there's all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah, Kyle can come back.
I think, yeah.
He can cook a meal.
Yeah. They could turn up at the house and there'll be Kyle there with a fried egg on a
He could be there for like mysterious reasons. And after like a year's build up, you find out he's there to get the sausage surprise recipe to put in his own book and steal it from Jean.
He wants the recipe. It's a big hit in France. I tried to replicate it, Jean, but it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
What's that film, Ratatouille? It's a bit like that.
And it builds up for a whole year, and on Christmas Day it all comes out.
He's got a sausage in his
The big
hand.
story.
Jean's like looking really like shocked.
You've got my recipe.
But Kyle, what are you doing? There we go. We're just
To
writing.
be written.
I was going to say we're just writing the plots for them now.
Bring Kyle back. Why not?
Oh, why not indeed? So, anyway, well, I had to give you reasons why, because Riley Carter is very busy. Once his contract was over, Riley spoke to the Sun newspaper and said he felt disappointed he was not able to show Kyle in everyday life. He continued to say that the big coming out story was dramatic and emotional, but there was no happy ending, like a relationship, and it was very frustrating. He said, I felt like I let down myself and the fans. However, he soon bounced back, and he has
It's hardly his fault, though. It's the writer.
Of course not, but you kind of put the weight on your own shoulders, don't you? He's having a very fruitful and successful stage career, though. Firstly, starring in Safe, created by performer Alexis Gregory, and performed in the London Theatre Workshop in October 2016, based on the idea that in this country, a quarter of homeless young people identify themselves as LGBT. The story portrays 4 teenagers coming out stories. Riley plays Jack, giving his frank account and struggles of his transition. In May 2017, Riley performed with a group of comedians and actors who read over 20 real-life coming-out stories at the Lyric Theatre. The gala night was called Outings, which was a celebration of queer lives during Pride and raised funds for the LGBT plus charity Switchboard, who have been taking calls since 1974 to answer of millions, offering calm words when they need them most. By the way, if you want more information of that, you can volunteer or donate by visiting Switchboard.lgbt. Carter also loaned his voice as a narrator for the documentary Death on Campus, available still on BBC Three. If you live in the UK, download it.
I watched it.
Yeah, you said it was really good.
I didn't realise it was him, though, but there you go.
But he's a narrator. It's not about him.
Recognisable voice, is it? But I normally do recognise these things. So.
Didn't spot that one,
But
though.
no, it is nice. Not a nice documentary, but it's worth to watch.
It shows the testimony of the loved ones who try to put together the lives of 3 university students who take their own lives because of academic, financial or social pressures. While he also frequently shares his thoughts about diversity to workplace conferences around the UK, he's currently touring the UK with the play Birdsong. Now, there's not much time if you wish to catch this acclaimed performance. It is at the Oxford Playhouse from Monday the 16th to Saturday the 21st of July, and it explores the war novel written by Sebastian Faulks. The story follows 2 main characters living in different times. Stephen, a British soldier on the front line during World War I, and his granddaughter Elizabeth, who tries to understand her grandfather's experience of the war. So there we go. As always, you can find links to the charities I mentioned and any of the productions in the show notes. You can also find information on our Twitter, which is at Eastenders Week, Instagram at Eastenders Weekly, our Facebook, just search us. We've got a group and a page.
And a review.
Oh, and a
from
review.
today.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Very kind review. But it kind of helped our show at the beginning, didn't it?
It did.
And you can email us if you have any views of your own or anything you'd like to share that we may not have mentioned. And that's at eastendersweekly@gmail.com. We love to hear your thoughts and what you'd like to share. And there we go. That was this week's I'm Doing This Now.
Just do this now.
Nice little look into the past, present and future.
It was. The recent past. So now we go on to, I guess, the most serious storyline of this week. The most impactful is the Carters and Tina. Tina's back from holiday.
Woohoo!
After that lovely break she had. She's
Finally.
all blazes, isn't it?
She was in France and she boasted that she was in France, the
had
home
one
of
bottle of
wine.
wine.
And she only had one bottle with Zaza.
I know,
and
she's very
Zaza,
clean living, isn't she?
yeah, she
Zaza?
drinks green tea.
Mm.
Who drinks green
How
tea?
dare she?
I know, disgusting.
So yeah, Tina's back, although not straight away, because we've got the thing with Linda on the beginning of the week with Stuart, because they're sort of watching his I'm Sorry video.
Yes, and
And
he
it all-
says it gives us some closure.
Mm.
So this starts opening.
Mick looks out a window, so everyone knows, oh, what's going on
Oh,
here?
Mick knows something.
Another secret you're not telling the family. Have you not learnt in the past 4 years?
Shirley does shout quite loudly, "What do you mean, us?"
I love Shirley's like the best one this week in the Carters, because she's just telling it how it is. She's not fooled by Stuart, is she?
I mean, Shirley always has some good
I know.
gold lines.
I want her to have a proper storyline though, because it's been so long since Shirley had a storyline. Of her
Yeah,
own.
she's a bit of a
It's been
kind of
ages. The last one was when she shot Phil.
Was it
Probably.
really?
Well, like the
Really?
big one, like just about her, and then there was one of her and her mum and Tina looking after her mum, but that wasn't like
What about the Linda and Dean storyline? Wasn't that?
that was
after?
before that.
Was it?
Yeah,
Goodness me!
I know.
When they fell in the water and
In
Shirley,
the pond,
in the pond, and Shirley's watching the whole thing, going,
Yeah.
"Stop it!"
and she tried to
No!"
drown him in a bath because she was like washing Dean. In the bath. It was
Yeah.
really weird. I don't know why she's doing that. Anyway, so yeah, Mick tells them that Stuart was abused when he was younger.
Yes.
I thought this was really horrible that he said it in front of Halfway.
Well, he said it in front of all of them.
Yeah, I know that, but like Halfway's his brother, and he just said it in front of him. It's like didn't even. I don't know. He could have took Halfway to one side and told him first.
Yeah, you're right. It could have been done a bit more
just,
subtly.
He just did it in front of Halfway, like he wasn't even there.
By the way, your brother was
I
abused.
know. It's really like
Because it was done a bit throwaway as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but so yeah, this upsets Halfway, and he
goes to the
talk
square-
Stuart.
Well, he goes to the Square Gardens first of all.
Oh, with Whitney,
and he upsets Whitney because
I know,
obviously
yeah.
Whitney had not
has
maybe
been abused.
She's been abused, maybe not to quite the same extent, but she has been abused. And he says,
Yeah.
"How could he let something like that happen?"
Let it happen.
And Whitney's frustrated. It's like, "What? What do you mean? How could I let that happen? I could hit you, and then you could say, well, why did you let that happen?" She had a fair point.
Yeah,
So he goes visit Stuart at the Victoria Street Cafe.
yeah. Another cafe for Stuart.
Yeah,
He loves his cafes, doesn't he?
well, he's been there a few
culture.
times, hasn't he? He likes a good coffee
Yeah,
and
he
a
loves
crumpet.
it. So they have a little chat, and he sort of acts as big brother again, doesn't he? Really,
Yeah.
He says him to not to worry,
Yeah,
and
because then halfway he's kind of saying, "Come on, let's go back and let's do the hunt." And Stuart said, "No, the hunt is over. Get over it. Get over it halfway. Come on, we've
Yeah.
done that now." And they go back to the pub, and when Stuart walks in, there's like a big, "Oh God, what are you doing back here?
we don't want to ever see you
we
again."
don't want to see you again. How many times do we have to tell you? It's been 4." And halfway says, "Well, if my brother's not welcome, then I feel I'm not welcome. So then I want to leave."
Whitney like nods
Yeah, Whitney.
behind the bar as well.
Whitney's
a
one of
little
those.
sneak.
She's one of exactly. She's the pot stirrer, isn't she? She just
Yeah.
throws the idea into the
little
ring,
nod.
and then kind of stands back and watches the explosions and the flames.
But so then they it's really stupid because they decide, oh, okay, if you stay, then Stuart stays.
Yeah.
All's forgiven. And then like 2 seconds later, Mick's having loads of beers with him.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, for
they're all
God's sake,
buddy
Mick.
buddy,
and they're
Oh.
both drunk again. It's like,
But the one can see who can see through it. The one flicker of hope that we have is Shirley.
yeah, she tells him she walks off.
Shirley's like, "Oh, I'm having none of this.
Yeah.
I'm off."
Yeah, and he like the beer barrel is empty, and Mick's too drunk or too laddie to.
Well, Mick's gone
Do
upstairs
it.
to the toilet. He can't use the public toilet like everyone else. He has to go upstairs to use the toilet.
Yeah.
So Stuart offers to help Linda. Linda does say to him, "I don't need your help. I've run a pub for almost 6-7 years, so there's no need." Anyway, he insists.
It was really horrible. When he like stood in front of her.
I mean, Stuart.
It's really like
is-
this made me feel really horrid. And
Yeah.
the look on her face was just like because we know what happened with her and Dean, so she's obviously a bit on edge with men lunging over her, and like she tries to walk past and he goes left and then right, and then and it's just really like uncomfortable. I didn't like it.
No, exactly.
I thought it was so horrible,
like
knowing what Linda's been through.
Yeah, exactly what you say. Like you say,
Oh.
what Linda's been through before, you can tell that like any kind of confrontation of that way is going to be uncomfortable for
and
her.
he knows it, and that's why he's doing it. And it's just
exactly. He's doing it on purpose.
really nasty.
I mean, the actor who plays Ricky Champ, he's just fantastic, isn't he? I mean, I've never seen him in a serious dark role before.
No.
I only know him from Him and Her, and I'm sure I've seen him in something else as well. And I loved him in Him and Her. Like, Him and Her is one of my absolute favourite comedies of all time, and
he's really funny in it.
He's really good in it. So to just become this almost polar opposite character, and the way he does it, it's just fantastic. I think it's fantastic the way it's portrayed.
Did you see Kerry Howard, who played his wife on Him and Her, tweeted saying that she was going to come and sort him out?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. She's fantastic too. I love her.
Yeah. But luckily, Linda doesn't keep this a secret. Thank God.
Exactly. He tried to intimidate Linda. He says, "Don't tell me what I can do. I'll do what I like." And she's a will. But you know what? Like I say, there's always that one Samaritan, and that's Shirley.
Yeah.
And she tells Shirley, which was nice. It's nice that they actually have a conversation and discuss their problems with one another. So I always say this every week. It doesn't make a soap, but my goodness, how many problems could be solved by just talking?
So she shouts for Mick. Mick calls him and says, "Oh, you need to come around and apologise." And he sort of acts like, "Oh, what do you mean? I thought I was being funny.
I thought it was a joke.
I didn't really know what you're on about." And it's like,
I mean, later on in the episode, we find out, because this is when Tina returns.
oh, she turns up halfway through. This is when she turns up halfway through, so it's like kind of diffuses it a bit, doesn't it?
Exactly, because he's offered her tickets to see Oliver, a special screening of Oliver.
I know.
Mick can't make it, but Stuart's like, "Oh, I'll go with you then, Tina." And you see Tina's face immediately, like, "No, I don't want you to come with me."
Linda.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, Linda. And
surely Mick should know, like, Linda wouldn't want to go.
I mean, Mick's
It's like, for God's sake, I wouldn't want to go. Even if he wasn't creepy, I wouldn't want to go with, like, my partner's friend who I obviously don't like.
Yeah, a complete stranger to Linda, because Linda, really, Stuart is a stranger to Linda. They've not really had that much interaction with one another.
It's silly. So yeah, it ends up Tina takes one of the tickets, but
and
Stuart wants to still drive them.
Stuart still wants to drive them. Nothing really comes of that, but we do find
they have like that weird conversation when she's doing the laundry, doesn't she?
Well,
with
we discover that they used to play a game called Torturer, and that's all we hear for that.
Yeah,
but
she says like, "Oh, it was about 20 years ago." 20 or 25 years ago since we've seen each other and stuff.
So there was a lot of speculation being thrown out there at this point, that everyone was saying, "Oh, hang on, is Stuart Zaza's father? Is there something that happened between them?"
Everyone was saying that, but a lot of people were like, "I don't want that to be the case."
Yes.
So so that's when we lead onto the amazing 80s theme night.
Yes. Well, it starts off with a roller skating woman going around the square handing out flyers. It's 80s night at E20.
Yeah.
I mean,
Martin looks at her like, "Who the hell?"
Yeah. Like someone's just pooed on his shoe. So, you know what I mean? It's like he was not happy. I liked that the club night was called the 80s Meltdown. I thought that might have been a little bit of clever foreshadowing by the writers.
It was a meltdown for someone.
Well, that's right. So with the writers being a bit clever with that one.
Of course, always. So Tina wants to go. No one wants to really go with her.
Mick won't go with her. Linda won't go with her. They're having their date night. Whitney can't go because she's off to visit. She's off on another...
Again?
Yeah, I know. She's just come back and now she's off again.
No.
And
so lazy.
Shirley
It's so weird that she's going to see Bianca for her birthday but not taking Tiffany.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit like, right, Tiff.
Yeah, but if Tiffany goes, then, you have to go with her. Bernie.
True. So, Stuart says he'll go with Tina, and Tina's like, "Okay,
that seems fine."
You're a bit weird, but okay.
Yeah, I suppose I desperately want a night out. I love to
I've
have
just
fist
been on
pump.
holiday, so I want a night out.
Yeah, I know. I've just come back, so I might as well have a night out. I love her fist pump when the woman gives her the flyer and she goes, "Yeah."
Yeah, I know.
Like, that was fun.
So she's had her hair done, all crimped, and they're all dressed up, lining up to get in.
Yeah, Linda does warn Tina at this point.
It's
Linda,
a bit odd.
Yeah, Linda
She
says...
also warned him before getting in the car as well, didn't she? She said something a bit...
She says, "Just watch yourself with that one." And Tina's like, "Oh, I'm all right. I can stand up for myself."
I'm tough.
Yeah.
I'd never broken me before.
Yes, which leads to
everyone's dressed up. Did you see Shrimpy?
Shrimpy was on point. Boy George.
Yeah.
He had the braids in. He had the ribbon in his hair. He's still. But Boy George wears a hat.
Character, exactly.
Boy George wears a hat.
Do you think he's his idol when he was younger? Shrimpy's idol.
I mean,
that's why he has a hat business.
What, because Boy George?
Because of Boy George. Yeah.
I don't think it was his idol.
Go
but
into
I
the
think
history of Shrimpy.
So you mean Shrimpy or the actor?
Yeah, Shrimpy.
Oh, sorry,
Shrimpy. No, not the actor. Shrimpy.
Oh, sorry.
It's the only one I care about.
I mean, I think Shrimpy, when he was at school, he used to, he was there with his little record player. He had his record player. He used to plug in his headphones up to 11, and he'd be listening to all kinds of new music. All the other kids.
We weren't sure if Shrimpy was there with Marie or not. His other woman.
Marie was in front of him, but behind him was the flower shop lady.
But he did sort of say something to Marie, but she was with another friend. So
she kind of dismissed him a little bit, didn't she? She was like, and then kind of turned around.
And he didn't pay any attention to the flower girl behind.
I mean, I don't think Shrimpy would go there on his own, though.
I don't know. He's so confident with his hats.
Let's get back on the story.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk about Tina now.
Right, so...
Because this is when they were in the line and they're talking together, and she said all about that game torturer again. And she said, but you're not like that anymore, are you? Which was another hint that, like, obviously he's a bit odd. And they were playing this game, like, kill, marry, or snog.
Yes, because there was a girl...
I thought that was a bit odd, because there was a girl they both liked, and he tried to get her, and he couldn't, obviously.
Yeah.
She tried to. She thought she couldn't, so they were all pally. And then she gave her number.
Yeah, because when she came over, Stuart was like, "Oh, sorry, love. We're not interested."
And they both went, "That means kill." And they both like had a gun. Like it was like that was a bit weird.
I mean, I suppose Tina's kind of that's what their friendship was in the past, so they kind of brought it forward to a bit more of an adult version of it. Also,
but
I guess
got very jealous, didn't he?
I guess no one really told Tina what's been happening for the past 4 or 5 weeks as well.
Didn't have a chance, did they?
Well, yeah, but you think like if you returned, especially if Linda and her went to see Oliver together before the when they're in the concessions trying to get themselves a bag of popcorn or something. Used to be like, "So what's been happening, Linda?" "Oh, not much." There's a bit of hunting, Mick almost got in trouble with the police, the normal stuff.
No one cares. No one bothered to tell her. So, he gets really jealous because he gets a number from this person. Obviously, he couldn't.
Yes.
And that's sort of, he goes on that weird flip, doesn't he?
Well, yes, exactly. And Tina notices it as he storms up to the DJ. The DJ, incidentally, was the same woman who was earlier roller skating around.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
She's just busy.
I was keeping my eye on the plot, Ben.
Why are you so obsessed with the DJ woman? What do you want to do to her?
Don't know. I was thinking about her past when she was younger.
Why does she rollerblade?
When she was younger, she was part of the rollerblade championships, but she had an injury and had to be knocked out, and so she'd never rollerblade again. And so her roller skate career is now just narrowed down to handing out flyers around the square. So Tina says there's no hard feelings. Going back to the plot, which we're meant to be talking about, and with impeccable timing, when they clink glasses, a song comes on, and the song comes on, and the song is called "We Called It Acid" by D-Mob. It's a really hard kind of trance, kind of club music track.
And it brings a flood of memories back to her face.
I mean, this is Tina in a really disturbed way. Stuart kind of sees that she's upset, gives this really menacing smile,
and just walks
off.
And it like goes like you hear her heartbeat, and you hear like things happen, like a younger version of her like screaming.
You can hear screaming.
You can hear like a car or something.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell if it was a car or a motorbike, or it was something like a revving engine.
Yeah. It's like intertwined with the music, so you could hear all these memories in her head, these audio memories to her.
I thought it was quite good. It's quite different.
I thought it was really well done. Although it kind of took me out a little bit when they did, I forget what the camera shot's called, but it's when you zoom in, but the background seems to be zooming out at the same time. And that always reminds me of like a comedy show. It's like dum 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 a little bit, but it didn't take me out of it too much.
No.
She dropped her mojito, and I knew it was a mojito because it had lots of leaves in it.
Oh,
that's right. Mint, yeah.
Mint leaves.
Lots of mint leaves. And the show climaxed on her almost, you could see she was kind of swallowing venom and kind of like an acid reflex.
Yeah, like everything had to come back. I mean, this is the first time we've actually been able to talk about Tina since we started the podcast.
Yes.
She's not been on it or had a storyline worth even talking about her. So this is nice.
It's nice that she's
talking
come in.
about Tina.
Yeah, it's nice when they bring back a character and they give her something to do.
Even if it was just for 1 week.
But no.
Continue.
There's more to come because obviously the next day, Tina goes into the kitchen and Linda spots that she looks a bit distant and a bit upset, and she leaves crying and then goes to work.
Oh yeah,
and she spills.
Kathy has like a go at her.
Kathy has a go at her. I mean, she
Well,
spills
to be fair,
beans on a.
it's on Max. It doesn't matter.
No, it wasn't on Max. It was just an incidental character.
I thought it was Max.
No.
It was Max.
If it was Max, there would have been an issue.
Trust me, it was Max because he was sat behind Ian and Masood.
No, I bet you money that it wasn't Max.
Fine, we'll see. There'll be an apology next week.
Okay, yes, we'll remember this.
Be.
But if anyone else spots it, to save me having to rewatch the
No,
scene.
I'll show it to you in a minute.
Oh, okay. I'll do a special apology. It'll be just an episode of me apologising. So anyway, she spills the beans on the table. Again, was that a writer's pun? That she's going to spill the beans of what's been going on from last night?
There's a lot of puns going on. You're looking very deeply into this.
I am. She forgets to warm up the pies. You know, she forgets to press
No
1 0.
Cold pie.
Cold pies.
Cold pies aren't that bad.
I like a cold pie personally.
Kathy.
I mean, warming up to me just entails, like I was going to say, putting it in the microwave, putting 1 minute on the clock, and just watching it whirl around for a bit. I mean,
if I was Tina, I'd be like, well, no one likes thinking their mum's dead.
Ooh. Can you imagine the whole cafe went, ooh? That would be amazing.
Sonia's there though.
Sonia's always there, isn't
Dot.
she? She's Dot.
Sonia Cotton.
She's the only sensible head in the whole of the square. Even when she goes a little bit mental, she's still the sensible one.
Yeah, she's always there. So they have like a really long talk.
I mean, yes.
No, it's nice to talk about Tina again, and nice for her to have some acting because she's a decent actress actually. When she actually gets a storyline, but this was it was a bit like disjointed. I thought the way they told this story, like this confession of Tina's, it went on for ages, and it was all like a load of nothing. Like for most of it,
she was building. It was
building up, yeah, but it just
no.
something wasn't quite right with me. It was like
didn't click to you.
It's like she was talking, but nothing was sort of coming out. It wasn't going in.
Right.
I was like, this. It's just all a bunch of words until she actually finally got around to what's doing. Because a lot of people online don't understand what actually happened.
No. Well,
can you enlighten us? Can you enlighten us?
We can do. I mean, I was a little bit confused by the whole situation myself. However, upon rewatching it,
don't go through all of it like she did though. Just get to the.
I will sum it up.
Get to the crux of the matter, please.
Okay, I will do.
Otherwise, I might put her in a boot.
Don't put me in the boot. So she basically says that she used to play a game called Torturer,
yes.
Which was when you think of a word and then it's a bit like hide and seek, but the people who hide each have a letter of the word.
See, it's just ridiculous. It doesn't need to be that complicated.
And then the person who's seeking you then has to, when they find you, has to torture you to a degree so that you reveal what your letter is. And she says that most people would give it up within
but
like
she
a couple of seconds.
No one could ever
because she was the only girl who in the group, and
tough.
She was tough, and she was Mick's sister. I did like Sonia. You could tell by Sonia's face that it was a world away from her trumpet playing classes when she was a young girl. You know, when she used to be at home in Walford. So it was. She said that Stuart would take it too far and try to break her. So she said that he would one day scare her so much that she'll wish that she was dead. So on one evening, Tina went out for some beers with the football team. Anyway, she was put into a boot of a car, half naked, with her arms and legs tied up, gaffer tape around her mouth, and she was basically being driven around and round and round and round
with
while
that,
that music was booming in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, it suddenly went very quiet. Oh, and they were apparently ramming into things too. The car was, not her.
Okay.
And she could smell burning and taste smoke. And what they did was they lit tyres, a bit like waterboarding.
Making her think they were setting the car on fire to kill her.
Exactly. And at some point during all this also, they wrote the word slag on her back with lipstick. In lipstick.
What, hot pink?
Oh, I don't know. She
or
never...
Deep red?
Deep red?
I don't know. It's a bit odd. Like the fact that she forgot this.
No,
and I know, yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, go on.
It's just, and I know there's like that thing where if you have something very, very horrible happen to you, sometimes you can block it out of your mind. But she was like 20 odd. It's not like she was a young girl.
She was 19. She says she was 19.
But I know it is a horrible thing, but when you're 19, would you forget that?
No.
Or all of that? Or did she just forget that it was Stuart? Or not
she
realise it was Stuart.
did forget it. Well, she didn't realise it was Stuart at all because that's what she does at the end. It's a realisation that actually this was all down to Stuart. Stuart had finally broken her. I mean, there was a really interesting tweet. Someone said, "I don't get how the music suddenly brought something back. You don't forget abuse, obviously. So why wasn't just the sight of Stuart enough?" Now, someone said, if you remember though, she was a bit apprehensive when she saw him. And
he looked different.
And she said he looked a bit different. And then someone else mentioned that, you know, sometimes there is a condition where something which is so traumatic, so horrible that's happened to you, you deliberately trample it into the back of your mind and forget about it. But there's a trigger, and obviously in this instance it was that song,
that music, that She did.
She
tried to kiss her and said, "That's not what you need right now."
Yes.
And she sort of stormed into the square and saw Stuart, and then
with Mick
plotted revenge.
Which she says he is evil and he is going to pay. So watch this space.
Yeah, quite. I mean, I just got a few things from Twitter from the week. Someone says, "Poor Tina. I detest that slime ball Stuart."
Me too.
Yeah.
But I love him at the same time.
Detest but love him. We need Phil to get rid of Stuart. He's the only man for the job.
Oh, no, nonsense.
Again?
Why is everyone to resort to Phil? If they do that, I will be so angry. Phil, I need a job. I need a job doing.
Linda is so brave after everything she's been through. She doesn't need Stuart bullying her. I agree. And I'm sure Linda had told Mick to get that Stuart away countless of times, yet he's still there. Well, quite.
I think we should count how many times it's been. Again, if anyone has done just that. Somewhere. I believe it's been 4 or 5.
Is that all? I would say about 6 or 7.
I don't know. It happens about twice. It happens on
twice
the
a week.
Ratio of, two times per 7 days. I mean, there's probably going to be more back and forth after this revelation comes out. Like Mick will be like, "Oh, get out. Oh, I forgive you. Oh, I get it." So we'll
have
see.
a beer.
Have a beer.
Yeah, that leads up to them. So obviously Stuart's in for it soon from Tina. But before we go and talk about the Slaters and Martin's house arrangements, we're going to have a little break and play a little game.
So it's your turn to play the game this week.
It is. I've witnessed something again.
Oh my goodness.
We're back at Jack Branning's witness protection.
So much crime.
I know. So the rules are to this, if you can call it a game, but it's a very serious matter. A crime's been committed on the square, and Jack Branning has vowed to protect the identity of the culprit. But there was one witness. It was me. You question me, I can't lie. I can only reply with yes or no. So you can only ask me yes or no questions, please. And you can only guess who the culprit is once the questioning time is over, which is 60 seconds.
Oh my goodness, it's a short.
So I've written a short witness statement for you.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Well, yesterday I was drinking a sherry at the Vic, and I was out with Cush and Martin. And when I needed to go to the toilet, on the way I saw the toilets had been flooded on purpose by someone who left all the taps on. As they walked past me, I could see because they had water splatters on them. And I'm not a grass, so I'm not going to tell you who it was, unless you can guess by asking me yes or no questions within 60 seconds.
60 seconds, right? Okay, I'm ready. I'm a bit wary the fact that you had your eye on Shrimpy for most of the week, so I'm not sure that this is such a.
Shrimpy's at E20.
So is it the Vic?
Anyway, this was yesterday.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. You can question me.
Super. Is this a current member of the cast?
Yes.
Is he male?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay. Does he drink from a special container?
No. Cush and Martin were with me.
Oh yeah, they. God, I really wouldn't listen. Okay. Does he work on the market?
No.
Does he have facial hair?
No.
Does he have
halfway?
It's halfway.
No, you're halfway.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Does he have a girlfriend?
No.
Oh. Does he? Does he work on the square?
No.
Has he got a business partner?
No. 15 seconds.
Oh, I don't know.
He's going to get away with it.
Oh goodness. Is he part of a family? Like,
yes.
Does he work at the garage?
No.
Is he...
One. Time's up.
Oh, one last question.
Okay.
And if I get it right after this question, does he go to school?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But you don't get to ask because the 1 minute's up, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but I had that question ready and then you
No.
interrupted me.
No.
Oh, how dare you. Right, well, can I guess even though...
You can try and guess.
Okay, so I think... we need a drum roll here. I
Mm.
think it is Keegan.
No.
Oh.
It was Dennis Rickman /
Dennis.
Mitchell.
Oh, do you know what I was going
He
to
was
ask?
playing pranks and he just left the taps on trying to flood the Vic.
He's a mischief, isn't he?
But I don't want to grass on him because it's Phil Mitchell's his dad. So.
Well, he's in witness protection now. He's been looked after by Jack in one of
But
his
luckily you
private
didn't get
homes.
out of me, so
There you go.
he goes
Failure.
free. He's still there.
I feel disgusting. I feel dirty. I'm going to go in and wash.
Right. So we've got... I don't want to call it a storyline, really. Martin's getting quite upset that his house seems to be invaded by Slater.
Yes.
Now he's moved back in.
I mean, since it was 80s night this week, I've put as the title for the notes for this, Martin's Crowded House. I mean, if you lived in the 80s, that would make him...
Yeah, that means nothing to me. So he's getting quite upset. I mean, the kitchen's messy.
Yeah.
Everyone's eating his breakfast and drinking his coffee.
Yeah, he makes toast.
He can't have a shower, can't go to the toilet without someone interrupting him.
Just...
Apparently there's no lock on the bathroom door for some reason.
Not yet, there isn't.
Yeah, why?
Because they're an open family. they don't need to have a
That's
lock.
a bit odd. So Martin is upset on Monday because of this. And Stacey has a plan. What's her plan? To put a lock on a door.
Yes.
That's her plan.
It's a
She actually said,
valid
I have
point.
a plan. It's just fixing a door. So that's fine. Martin's a bit happy, but still.
When he's happy until the moment that someone else is using the lock other than him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tiffany.
No, it's Mo.
Oh, is it
Mo
Mo?
locked herself into the toilet and Martin's not happy. I mean, Martin has decided that's his lock. Only he can use it.
So the next day, we've got the kitchen's messy again.
His bathroom agony continues as Tiff is in the shower.
He says Lily's pasty because he's a bit upset at the moment.
Yes.
He's a bit short.
Which was, I think, a bit of a mistake, as we've discovered later in the episode.
And Kat's kind of twigging on that he's getting a bit annoyed. So she buys him a mug and says, "Oh, you can have your own mug of tea."
It's a tea. It's a box of tea. Because
is it a box of tea? I thought it was his
Yeah.
own mug
No.
to use
You
because
bought
she
it from
kept
Minimart.
using his mug.
No,
Oh, that's rubbish, Kat.
Yeah, well, it's
It's in like a really posh
£2.
box.
It wasn't in a posh box.
Wasn't
it was in a
it?
red box with the logo
Yeah.
Minute-Mart written on the front.
Oh, I
of it.
didn't see that. I thought the way she said it is she'd bought him his own mug to use because everyone kept stealing his cup of tea.
No, because when he came downstairs, there was only one tea
Oh,
bag left, and
God's
Mo had
sake.
used the last tea bag, so we went to
Right.
the cafe to have his breakfast.
Well, that angers me. I'm on Martin's side.
Well, I would be too.
So, they then have a second plan that they're going to clean the house.
Yeah, Jean's making.
Sausage surprise.
Yep. So Martin arrives home. The house is clean.
Yeah.
Kat and Mo are being on their best behaviour, reading in the lounge, not making any noise.
Still not happy though, is he?
Well,
He's
no.
still a bit like, this is nice, but they still need
It's
to
not as nice as if every single one of them leaves and it's just me and the
Wasn't
kids. Yeah. Not even Stacey needs to be here anymore.
No.
Tiff comes back with Lil because she's been looking after Lil, picked her up from school and so forth.
Yeah.
And Lil
She
has
looks
got
like a real Slater now.
She does. She's got fake tan all over her face. I mean, she did look like she just put her face in a puddle.
Yeah.
Came back out again.
It's good. She looks like a Slater.
Yeah.
All works well.
Martin's had enough though, and at the top of the stairs he says, "I've had enough. I don't want this sodding sausage surprise."
No.
And he wants them all out. So Stacey agrees that maybe it's a bit crowded and perhaps they need them to go. So Stacey starts producing
A dinner.
for them all to
We've
have.
had a lot of scenes of them just eating this week.
I mean,
Eating
if you-
breakfast, eating
Yeah.
2 dinners.
I mean, if you want to settle the wave, you need to kind of, use food. Food is the best way to get to someone's heart.
I mean, my notes for this on the dinner is Kat's kind of twigging because like Stacey's making dinner. This isn't usual. There's some wine, trying to get them drunk and nice and easy.
Which didn't
Well, they're
work.
getting them drunk would get them really rowdy.
Yes, it's the Slaters.
Yeah.
Stacey ended up drinking most of the wine, though.
And Martin's trying to say, get out, but then Stacey changes her mind anyway and says, no, you can all stay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, every time Stacey tries to say something, Martin kind of emphasises it,
Yeah.
repeats it, and none of them listen. Can I just say the notes I wrote for the Thursday
Of
episode?
course.
I put, Jean announces she loves potatoes,
Yes.
because she does. Family interrupt by taking photos of food. Jean tries to take a selfie. Martin is mad. That's the 3 things I wrote.
Well, they also talk if they like carrots as well.
But the carrots are a bit too hard.
But does Hayley like carrots? Does Tiffany like carrots? Jean likes carrots.
Will Big Mo be able to eat the carrots because they're not her real
For her
teeth?
teeth, yeah.
Yeah. Tiffany said she wanted teeth. She wanted the Big Mo.
This is what the Jesse Wallace came back for.
This is
Storylines like this.
This is what we all wanted them back for.
So on Friday, coming to the Martin's height of his annoyance,
Pinnacle of the
his
week.
morning money gets stolen somehow.
Yeah, his
from
money
him.
belt
He
gets
put it down,
stolen.
apparently.
Oh, is that what happened?
Put it down just for 1 minute.
Because, I mean, the only other way is that they put their arm around his waist,
Yeah.
untie it and run.
And Hayley was like, well, why did you put it down anyway? At all. Hayley's on it. She knows. She's been mugged before.
Hayley's watched mugging. She's
Yeah,
helped
she's
people
done
through
mugging.
muggings.
So this is when all the Slaters sort of come together and like do things for Martin to make him feel better.
Well,
so,
Martin promised Lily a night out at the
Yeah.
cinema with popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
So Jean, Kat, Mo, and Hayley start like putting together like a little mini cinema in the lounge.
Yeah.
Mo gives up her God only knows what stains sheet on the wall.
Yeah.
Jean is ribboning the turkey, and she kept saying it's a figure of speech.
Figure of speech.
Figure of speech.
Because she's wrapping something up in tinfoil like a turkey. That's what she was doing.
Oh, I get it now.
Do you?
No.
Well, anyway, it's Jean. You don't need to get it.
I love Jean.
So yeah, and then Kat is like making him like a leopard print money
No,
bag.
Jean's making the
Oh,
money.
she did that as well?
Jean did it all.
Oh, and Kat tried to take the credit.
Kat tried to take the credit, then Mo tried to take the credit, and then Jean was like,
right.
no, it was me all along. And Jean's in the kitchen popping the popcorn.
Yeah, she's doing it all.
I do also like that Jean said that spelling's overrated anyway to Lily because she writes admit one, ADDMITT. So she literally writes ad and mit.
I love how angry Hayley is with round children as well. Like,
Yes.
because Lily says, "Oh, you have to rip the ticket," and she goes, "Ugh," and, like, rips it and like throws it.
She's going to be a great mother.
I love her. I love Hayley. She's my kindred spirit.
She's fantastic.
So does this mean Martin's all happy now that they live there?
I'm presuming all's
Is that
forgiven.
all done? They can live there for a bit longer now.
I mean, I'm sure it will get its ugly head will rear itself
Hmm.
again maybe next week at some
Very
point.
odd.
Something will upset Martin in one way or
Yeah.
another. But yeah, very, very peculiar. So yeah, I guess there's what's going to happen next with the Slaters.
Wow.
Only
Only
exciting
time can
things.
tell, can't
Yeah.
it? On Twitter says, how's Martin just moved back in and now he's trying to kick everyone out? I wouldn't have it. Someone said,
It
to
is
be
Martin's
fair,
hat. Oh, sorry.
please.
Sorry.
Someone said back, to be fair, it is his house.
Yeah.
Because I thought you'd interrupt me then, so I preempted you. She replied saying, true, but as soon as he's moved back in, that's a bit rude, I find. And also, it's Stacey's, and he basically demanded it,
It's what, Stacey's house?
apparently.
No, it's Martin's house.
It was originally Pat's.
It was originally Pat's. Aren't they renting it
Oh.
from Janine?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But I think Martin.
We all thought that Kat paid a year's rent of her lottery winnings.
No, that was at the flat.
Or was that the flat?
That was the flat.
Mm.
And that's why they had to move out because the year rent was gone.
Someone said, Martin's lost a whole morning's takings. Since he sells an odd banana, apple and a few tomatoes a year, that's probably about £1.56.
And that's the rent.
And Martin's impression of Jean and her sodding sausage surprise was the funniest thing I've heard.
Yeah, that was good.
So yeah, there you go. That's the Slaters all wrapped up.
I mean, before Kyle gets the recipe, I would love the recipe for sausage surprise.
One day.
It's got your 5 a day in it, don't forget.
It has.
So let's quickly, before we go on to the poll of the week, just say that this week we're going to have another EastEnders Weekly Extra. And we're going to try to do one...
Extra.
An extra. And we're going to try to do one every month. So this will be obviously the July edition of EastEnders Weekly Extra.
It's
And
more of like a... Not really about what's happening in the show. It's more like people's interviews or quotes or
yeah, it's
news
a companion
yeah.
show. So yeah, it's got news, it's got features.
So it'll be like light spoilers. Well, not really spoilers, but like if someone's leaving or their comments and people's comments about it and things like that. So yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, so keep an eye. As we always say, if you subscribe to us on iTunes, on Podbean, or your favourite podcast app, then you will get that in your little box, I guess.
Yeah,
automatically.
Spotify. We're on Spotify now.
Yes, and don't forget we're on Spotify now.
Artists official artists.
We are.
Apparently.
Going to get that gold record.
Going to get to number 1.
Yeah. I'm going to be on top of the pops
Top
in no time.
100.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that would be fun.
It will be fun. We've got some questions from you guys, but we love getting more questions, and then we can try to get through as many as we can this future mini episode. So do send them to us. It's eastendersweekly@gmail.com, and you can also tweet us at EastEndersWeek or Instagram at EastEndersWeekly, and also send us comments on Facebook. We've been getting a few comments on Facebook as well, which has been great. So
yes.
they're all coming in. We do appreciate them. We do have them. We may not reply to let you know that we have them, but we were hoping to do an episode soon.
Yes.
Oh, this week.
Wednesdays it will come out.
Wednesdays will be out.
When EastEnders isn't on.
Yeah, so there you go. You can fill in the void with a half an hour episode of EastEnders Weekly Extra. So the poll of the week, which is always released on after Monday's episode. This week it was Marie from Bridge Street Cafe has been covering for Tina for a while and has saved up quite a few readies from the overtime. But what should she spend her extra wealth on? And the options were bowl for her goldfish, meal deal at McClunkey's, fancy date with Shrimpy, or a necklace like Kathy's. Basically, a bowl for a goldfish and a necklace like Kathy's was just thrown away. They were the bottom two.
She
I'm
has
afraid.
goldfish called Cat and Alfie.
Yes, I don't know if anyone got that reference, but that's why we said
why
a
we're
bowl for a
here.
goldfish. That's right. That she has goldfish and they're called Kath and Alfie. There you go. But she doesn't want to get a new bowl for them. Nor does she want a meal deal at McClunkey's. She would much rather have that date with Shrimpy.
Oh,
And she's paying as well.
I'm a bit worried to talk about Shrimpy now, since you get so upset when I talk about him.
She's a 21st century woman, and she's offering to pay.
Yes.
I mean,
They're going to wait till Ian's opens and go there together.
or Masood's, the van, they could just go
Go
and
to the van,
have a bit of fusion.
Much younger, hip couple.
A few extra suggestions was hair extensions, which from Karen English, which why not indeed.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. She was a bit worried that the hair extensions might fall into someone's soup, but she thought that would be a cool storyline, and I was inclined to agree.
Storyline's a storyline. Take it when you can.
Yeah. At Parker Boy, Daily Parker Boy, said a new hairstyle, so kind of going along the same lines.
Don't like her hair, do they?
No, they do not. And Aunt Babe, I don't know if it's the real Aunt Babe. Who knows?
Yes, of course it was.
She suggests perhaps she'll pay for a few more lines. I mean, if you could put like a quick note behind the back to the producers, perhaps that might work.
Yeah. What I'd say is, at least she's still on the show, Aunt Babe.
Ooh.
Can't pay for lines if you're not on it.
Snap.
One of my comments from Twitter today was from the fake Ronnie Mitchell. I love her. It was the one with Ian. She says, Ian still fancies Mel, and that's so sad. Mel's in her 40s and Ian looks like he's 57. That was from Ronnie Mitchell from Beyond the Grave.
Yes.
She hates Mel.
I don't blame her. She's taking Jack from her.
Exactly. So there you go.
There you go. So yes, always look out for our poll of the week. It's always posted at the end of Monday's episode of EastEnders in the UK. You can also follow us when we're posting tweets during the episodes, and that's obviously when it's aired in the UK. Don't forget our Twitter is at EastEnders Week, Instagram at EastEnders Weekly, email eastendersweekly@gmail.com, and please do subscribe. And if you like the show, why not give us a bit of a review on iTunes?
Fun. Although I've got something to tell you. I didn't want to tell you, but I've been offered £50,000 to ditch you and appear somewhere else.